and the All Indiana Podcast Network. This is the News 8 Daily 8 Podcast, a Wish TV News 8 update.
Hello, I'm Jeremy Jenkins, and this is your News 8 Daily 8 Podcast for Thursday, February 6th.
Looking for ways to save on your energy bills? AES Indiana has you covered. From smart thermostats to home energy assessments, we offer simple solutions to keep your home comfortable and your costs down. AES can help you save money and energy with kits, tips, rebates, and more. Visit aesindiana.com/ways to save to learn more about how we can help you save money. AES Indiana, helping you discover real ways to save.
When is the right time to sell a stock? How do you protect against inflation? Financial decisions can be tricky, and often your own cognitive and emotional biases can lead you astray. Financial Decoder, an original podcast from Charles Schwab, can help. Join host Mark Reby as he offers practical solutions to help overcome the cognitive and emotional biases that may affect your investing decisions. Listen at schwab.com/financial decoder.
We begin at the Statehouse, where lawmakers are working on the spending plan for the next 2 years. The House Ways and Means Committee is scheduled to hear testimony on the state's budget this afternoon after the full House adjourns. Also happening today, the state Senate is scheduled to vote on a bill that would ban public colleges and universities from funding any diversity, equity, and inclusion programs. That vote is set to take place during the full Senate session this afternoon. Yesterday at the Statehouse, hundreds gathered for one of several protests happening across the country against the Trump administration. News 8's Garrett Bergquist reports.
We reject the idea that our neighbors, our co-workers, no matter their identity, creed, code, color, are somehow against us.
The outrage from protesters was directed as much against Musk as against Donald Trump.
We did not vote Elon Musk into power, and that's who's in power right now. And we don't want what's happening right now to be a repeat of 1933, and that's what it's turning out to be.
Musk was not elected.
Organizers say the protests grew out of a nationwide grassroots effort called 50-51, meaning 50 states, 50 protests, one day.
When I first saw the Reddit post and realized that someone needed to kind of start bringing it all together and making it happen, there was nothing. And that just started on Monday. So I haven't slept a lot. And I've been working my day job in the meantime. So the turnout is huge. This is amazing. And the people who made this happen and the volunteers who stepped up.
Although a nationwide movement, state-level issues weren't far from protesters' minds. As News 8 has previously reported, progressive advocacy groups have called some legislation in the General Assembly Project 2025 inspired. They include measures to require schools to display the 10 Commandments and to classify zygotes as human beings and abortion as murder.
I belong to a grassroots organization that deals with local government, so we're fighting in the State House. Because our belief is, even though horrible things are happening at the national level, we feel that we need to make change local first.
Bodily autonomy as a woman, as a parent, I have girls that I'm raising here in this state. I fear for their future and what they may have, freedoms as an adult.
The protesters say after they go home, they plan to stay involved with various local advocacy groups. And they also plan to lobby state lawmakers against legislation meant to mirror Trump administration policies. Hess tells me he wants to build on the momentum from today's demonstration. He says he wants to turn into a way for people to continue to advocate for the issues they care about.
That was Garrett Bergquist reporting. In other news, President Trump has signed an order that intends to ban transgender athletes from participating in girls' and women's sports. Trump says the order, titled "Keeping Men Out of Women's Sports," on National Girls and Women in Sports Day. The Trump administration says schools that allow transgender athletes to compete on girls and women's sports teams could be ineligible for federal funding. The order could trigger more lawsuits similar to those challenging Trump's previous orders, halting federal support for gender-affirming health care for minors. In Plainfield, a suspect is in custody after a police chase that left one person dead and several others injured, including police officers. Authorities say it started when Avon police tried to stop a vehicle near the intersection of US 40 and Ronald Reagan Parkway, but the driver took off. Police say the vehicle then crashed into another car that then caught fire. One person died in the crash and 2 passengers were injured. Authorities tell us that Avon officers were injured while trying to help those involved in the crash. We are still working to find out how many officers were injured and the details on their condition. In Indianapolis, a judge has sentenced a man to 3 years probation for selling fake IDs that had a connection to a Marvel superhero. James Watt had earlier pleaded guilty to charges in the case. Prosecutors say the sample ID used at the website Watt worked for used a picture of actor Chris Hemsworth as the character Thor. That photo was used as a template for fake driver's licenses. The Justice Department says the website also boasted that it was your #1 trusted source for fake IDs. Prosecutors say Watt made 30,000 fake IDs over a 4-year period and was paid in Bitcoin equal to more than $1.3 million. Let's talk sports. Sports director Anthony Calhoun got a chance to catch up with Travis Kelce yesterday during his trip to the Big Easy. Kelce talked about he and girlfriend Taylor Swift's budding new friendship with Fever star Caitlin Clark. Just take a listen.
She's unbelievable. She's the funnest one to watch right now, and one of the best basketball players I've ever seen.
Clark was recently seen with Swift at a Chiefs game. Clark also made an appearance on Kelce's podcast back in January. And like I mentioned, AC is in the Big Easy for the Super Bowl. That's all week long. Be sure to join us tomorrow night at 6:30 on Wish TV for our half-hour special All Access Indy New Orleans. We'll hear more from AC with what's happening in New Orleans this week, coming up later this morning on Wish TV's Daybreak. Make sure you join us there. Now, when it comes to the weather, it will be a gloomy day. Storm Track 8 says we're starting the morning off with fog, with cloudy conditions coming later this afternoon. Meteorologist Tara Hastings has your News 8 Daily 8 forecast.
We've got some foggy conditions out there across much of the area with that dense fog advisory for the next couple of hours. I don't think it's going to last all day long here, but we may end the day out with maybe a little bit of sunshine. But use caution as you are out and about here this morning. The good news is all the temperatures are above freezing, so we're not looking for any freezing fog at all. Live look here. This dense fog advisory lasts until about 9 o'clock this morning. And here is a look at the visibility map. You can see some areas of fog here, especially in Indianapolis, points northward, also around Muncie, stretching into Richmond as well. So we've got lots of clouds in place, but we're beginning to see a little bit of improvement here in visibility. Right now, live look in Carmel, you can see lots of clouds in place. Earlier this morning, we were socked in the fog here, so some gradual improvement. We're at 36 degrees right now in the Carmel area, 39 officially in Indianapolis, and like I mentioned, pretty much everyone above that freezing mark, so that's good. Up to 44 degrees right now in Bloomington, and into the upper 40s, almost near 50 degrees in southwestern Indiana for you this morning. We're going to continue to see these temperatures climb, I think, as we go into the afternoon today. We're going to be talking about temps in the mid and upper 40s, maybe even some 50s farther southward. We do have lots of clouds in place right now, but I do think later this afternoon we will begin to see a little bit of sunshine here. Temperatures today close to 40 degrees at 9 o'clock this morning, and then we'll break up some of that cloud cover and see some sunshine today. We'll go with temps here into the mid and upper 40s here across parts of Indianapolis, points southward, and again, 50s possible across parts of southwestern Indiana. We will talk much more about a couple of systems that are going to move across the state in the next 7 to 10 days. We'll talk about that and where our temperatures go from here, all in my 7-day forecast.
To get a peek at Tara's full forecast, just head over to wishtv.com, or you can download the Wish TV Storm Track 8 app. And don't forget to check out our Storm Track 8 weather blogs. This has been your News 8 Daily 8 podcast for Thursday, February 6th. I'm Jeremy Jenkins for Wish TV, wishtv.com, or follow us on Facebook for updates.
This is the News 8 Daily 8 podcast, a Wish TV News 8 update on demand. For even more, on demand and on the go, connect with Wish TV on Facebook at wishtv.com and on the free Wish TV mobile app. Thank you for listening, and be sure to like, subscribe, and follow this podcast for updates every weekday morning on the All Indiana Podcast Network and wherever you get your podcast.